Now then, people, good evening. Welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show. I hope you are all doing well. Forgive me for being late. It is my fault, as always. And the scouting report tonight is at 10 o'clock. Look, facts are, Lockie is working now. Andrea, it's now 11 o'clock for him. So, show some love. But also it meant that this is the only time we could slot it in. We do like, is that Big Ben?
Yeah. Picture I took in 2023. Yeah.
Love
2 years
that.
ago.
You're an Englishman at heart, mate. You're an Englishman at heart.
Yeah, I know.
Show me London on there. Get London, Andre. Get London off your phone, mate.
Yeah, you don't want
London.
My
the
favorite
Yorkshire
seat,
Dales.
I cannot.
Yeah. So this is the only time we could fit it in this week, folks. So do forgive us for that. Although to be fair, you've been enjoying the late night leads of late, so it's cool, isn't it? You're getting two birds with one. Let's just dive into some comments straight out of the bat before I welcome in the lads. Smash a like and subscribe. I'm not optimistic we'll sign any of them. Well, we need to. Matty wasn't happy the other day with you going live at 10. Surely you could do it at 9. Well, no, there isn't no sort of like you go when you want to go. I don't know. I can't help that. I apologise if anyone's upset by that. But if you prefer to watch Matty, go watch Matty, Stephen. It's as simple as pie, which is 3.125, I think. Or maybe 3.124 recurring. There's a bit of maths for you. Evening all, though. I hope you're all doing well. Jack says, let's go. To be fair, Jack's been asking this for weeks. 4 weeks.
I know.
So we're here. Let's get this show on the road. Can't wait for this show with Joe, Andrea, and Lockie. There was another comment that I wanted to flash up from our man Oliver, because Oliver did say we should do a Wayman wildcard.
Yes.
You'll be happy to know the Wayman wildcard has been selected. It was selected yesterday. The lads did have to remind me, by the way. And what I am going to do is see if the lads can work it out when we get there. But it'll be the I promise you, I've had it picked since yesterday. The lads wanted me to put it on the thumbnail, and I was like, no, I want these to guess who it is.
With the mask on.
You did say that. You did say that.
Like
R.I.P. Joe Donoghue. Yeah, listen. Before we get into it, actually, because I've not had a chance to chat to you. Obviously, Joe Donoghue's leaving the YEP, but that's not the news I wanted to chat about. Let's chat about the last 24 to 48 hours. Siddiqui saying Leeds United did bid. I did speak to them. And of course, the Sean Longstaff scenario. There is news tonight, though, from the Newcastle. I think his name's Will. Will, that's right. But he did say the deal was done yesterday as well. So you've got to take it with a pinch of salt. He's now saying it still could be on and structured differently in Newcastle's favour. So let's talk to the lads. Andrea, do you want to jump in first? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, first and foremost, I want to say Joe Donoghue has left YP because I know some people might not have seen the news or reading RIP might misunderstand that.
Oh, yeah, sorry, he's not dead.
He's not dead. Yeah, he's just left the YP. Just wanted to clarify that, and good luck for his future endeavors. Yeah, my point of view is that honestly, on the Siddiqui thing, I believe the player. Honestly, there's no reason for a player to lie, especially in an interview. He's been, of course, involved on his transfers because it's his life, it's his career. So if he says that Sunderland, Eintracht Frankfurt and Leeds were the interested parties, they were the interested parties. Yeah. I think that Leeds, especially after last season with the leak of Max Aaron's story, are very careful of not leaking anything from the shop, So we are very, very tight. And it seems that when we are outnumbered in terms of the fees in the offers, we say we were not interested right now. That's what it seems to be. It's a strategy. It's one can agree or not with that strategy, but I think it is becoming one. Because with Diarra, Leeds have not put another bid in. Some other journalists were saying Leeds had put an improved bid in. Same for Sadiki. Same with Longstaff now. Conflicting reports. Somebody saying, no, we're going to move to the next targets, and others saying, no, Leeds are trying to restructure the deal, So, yeah, we'll see. But I think the price with Longstaff, I know it's in the last year of his contract, but for a player with 7 years of Premier League experience, player that helped Newcastle United, especially before they became, famous again after the takeover, he was basically their best player in midfield, and he's still been a very useful servant and reliable player when they finished third the first time and fourth again this season, So I think the price for 15 million, no more. But if you can improve the offer and try to offer to Newcastle 15 million, I think it's I will do that. I will do that because the player is worth of that. I think there's also a misconception about the fact that he's Sean Longstaff. So it's not a marvelous or exotic player from an exotic league or an upcoming player. He's an established Prem 1, exactly what we were missing the last time. Prem proven players. I think we only signed Dan James in those 3 years from our club, if I remember correctly. So get Premier League experience. If there's the possibility of an improved bid or a different structure, get him. To be fair, I really think we need that kind of player.
100%. Just before we come to Lockie, a few people have suggested this, and there's no shots or anything. And I'm not like, I know Max did a video, and I think people have spoke on the back of that. He signed a new deal when we were linked to him, like back at the start of June. That's already been announced. He's come out and said, I'm staying. So that's not going to happen anyway. So yeah, that I like the player from what I've seen, but obviously he's staying put at Union Saint-Gilloise. So yeah, he signed a new deal. Lockie, any thoughts on the past 24 to 48 hours? Are you starting it? Like, people have been saying, oh, Joe's losing his head or whatever, but I haven't. I've just been like frustrated and annoyed. I still have faith we'll get things done. There's no, if the window shut tomorrow, I'd be fuming, but yeah. We've still got 5 weeks or whatever it is. It's going to be calm, but it looks to me like Leeds are playing a dangerous game in terms of lowballing people and missing out on targets because of that. So, any thoughts?
Yeah, I think both can be true in the sense that you can believe that we'll get it done, but you can also be frustrated. I don't think you can be both, right? I think we all kind of are. I think we're all kind of. It's a bit annoying what's happening. The news I know I went to work yesterday. I came back and I had about 100 messages. Didn't know what was going on. It was like, are we getting him or not? It's crazy, but it's the whole. One thing that's just slightly frustrating, and I think it's the idea that everything we do is right and everything every other club does is wrong. You know what I mean? If it's because he's not worth that. That's why. That's about opinion. That's about what you've seen. That's about Sunderland might value a player at this. We might value a player at that. None are wrong. I guess we'll find out when they play football who's right. So that's not the case. Sometimes Sunderland will beat us to players. Other teams will beat us to players. That's going to happen. And it's happened. We need to accept that. We didn't value the players at what they did. They could be right. We could be wrong, or the other way around. It's annoying that, we always have to be right because we're probably not. They're a very well-run club as well. Let's not forget they are. So it is what it is. And yeah,
I think they call it copium in the space, mate.
Oh, massive copium, yeah. And look, we all do it.
Yeah, 100%.
I do copium and complacency for me.
Yeah. But it's just the frustration that for weeks and weeks how long have we been hearing about getting a number 8 now?
Yeah.
3-4 weeks. Start the window, wasn't it? Proper start. Yeah. And it's still dragging on. But even when it's done, I still feel like we need another. That's kind of what's frustrating me. So it's frustrating, but again, I do think we'll get something done. It's just annoying that we do seem to be scratching for 2 or 3 million quid either way, which makes me worry a little bit about how tight our financials. That's worrying me a little bit. I don't know what you guys think about that. So
no, you agree, especially with the structure of the deal. Like, if the deal's 12, let's say it's still 12, but it's structured differently. It's like, what the fuck? Like, what's going on here?
By a few million. Yeah.
And maybe they thought players would leave. I don't know.
Yeah, potentially. But if it is that, I guess, then obviously, fair enough. But we don't know, and it's a bit weird to me, you know, haggling over whether you pay 3 million this year or next year. I don't know how it works. It all seems a little odd. It's not like we're talking 10 million plus. Like, you look at Diarra and you can say, yeah, look, we valued him at 20. They got 30 odd. Fair enough. You're not going to try and go up there. But with Longstaff, it just seems like it's between like 13 and 15 million. It's just, it's jarring, isn't it? It's jarring.
It is, mate. It is. You're right.
There's also this thing now that if we don't go the distance for 3 or 4 million more, you know, for a player that is experienced and proven, 27 years of age, plenty of Premier League experience, you know, there will be other clubs now notified of the situation.
Yes.
And they will go and try to get him, especially.
I could see Everton, you know. Everton lost absolutely like 9 players. Absolutely. 9 players this summer. Yeah. Why not? And he's a Moisey type player as well. David Moyes would love someone like Longstaff, I think.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we best, if the deal's not dead, because I've read as well, like Longstaff isn't going to push for a move. He's not going to. He's a Newcastle fan, so we need to give them what they want. It's not as if the player he's going to say, right, I'm going to not play then, because all right, well, don't play. Do you know what I mean? He's not that type of character anyway. So we'll see. It's been a very, very quiet day. This is the only video of the day. There's been nothing to talk about at all. So hopefully tomorrow will be better. Friday, another week gone. Right, should we get stuck into the number 10s, the exciting positions, the creators, the goal scorers were there finally. I know we did 9s, but there's a dearth of 9s, whereas there's many, many number 10s out there. So who's starting first, folks?
Andrea?
Me?
I started last time.
All right.
Yep.
Cool. True. So we are very... There's a lot of sportsmanship and fair play between me and Lockie, you see.
I could be wrong, mate. I could just be lying.
There won't be when my wild card blows both yours out at window. People have been saying Tyler Roberts and that's Joe's wild card.
Okay, here we go again. I think it's a right resolution, yeah.
Yeah,
it's a right resolution. Yeah,
sorry, yeah.
Yeah, very quick this time because we want to keep it short. And this time I only have 2 pages. So number 10, what we're looking at, you know, is a player capable of helping the midfield in the build-up, but also be that extra attacker in the attacking phase. So all these players that I've put in the very short, this time extended list, you know, have a common trait. They can both be playmakers in the build-up, but also are very capable of moving off the ball, contributing from the left to the right, and also making central runs and be in the right position to be the extra attacker in midfield, in the final third, especially, you know. So just a few names you can see here, you know. There's more unknowns in a certain sense, because Pavel Šulc, for example, we talked about him, I think, 1 year or 2 years ago in a scouting report when we were in the championship. Tosvet from Sassuolo, Dele Bashiru, Constante Diaz probably going to Stuttgart.
Gloukh. I know Golovin on the list.
Yeah. I've put him on the list because he's 29 and he hasn't played much this season at Monaco. He's been there since 2018. So it's a long time, I think 6-7 years. So might want to change. He's edging towards his 30th years of age. Aralson, Arit, you know, more experienced one. You can, of course, check them manually. Then other ones, you know, except, for example, loan options like Bonanotte, Brighton, Echeverri from Man City, and other ones like from Turkish League, Szymanski, Fenerbahce. Gulliksen, there was a person in the chat that was bossing Gulliksen every time, best young player in the Conference League last season. Ganderman returning, Bondarenko, Sperzian. These players, you know, you can go back and Talisca. Very experienced. Moved to Turkey in January from Saudi. I think still can do a job, you know. But yeah, my first pick, of course, is a returning one because he was already on the scouting report. I don't remember if last season or the season before. So yeah, Pavel Šulc, Czech player from Viktoria Plzeň. I defined him an advanced playmaker. Exactly what I meant when I introduced the type of number 10 we're looking at, you know. And that's exactly the type of player he is, you know. It's a player capable of moving all around in the build-up. very prolific. You see that he scored 20 goals in 54 games for Viktoria Plzen this season and 15 assists. I have also this stat specifically that the season before he had scored 22 goals and 8 assists. So he has improved also in terms of assisting and contributing to his teammates, this season compared to last season. Of course, Czech national team regularly. He came into the scene a little bit later because he's 24 now. He's been a product of Viktoria Plzen, had many loans, Kilava, Opava, České Budějovice, then Jablonec, then from since 2 seasons now. For 2 seasons now, he's been back at Viktoria Plzen, and he's been basically, as his manager Miroslav Kubek has said, the best player in the Czech league, even better than Zaferis, another one that we talked about last season in the scouting report. So, like I said, I think that I really like about these players, and you will see this common trait between my three picks, is that they are all able to move all around in the build-up, like being the third man, not the third man of the NWO, like in the 90s with Hulk Hogan, Scott Hall, and Kevin Nash, but the third man in midfield, So moving all around, especially on the left, to get the ball, carry the ball, pass the ball, 1-2 touches, passes the ball, or breaking the pressing and then sprinting off the ball to be the extra attacker, Very reliable. Yeah, go on, Lockie. Jump in.
Just very quickly, because obviously, it was last year we did him, I think, last year.
Yeah.
One thing that I noticed from him is intensity. He plays with so much intensity. That's all I want to say. Sorry, yeah.
No, don't worry. Always welcome to jump in if you have something on your part, on these players. Like I said, very reliable. 53 games started, 1 substitution, only 1 as a sub, and only 1 game missed due to injury. 47 games as, of course, number 10 and 5 as center midfielder this season for Viktoria Plzen. You see his stats, very reliable in terms of what he can do, especially in terms of progressive carries and take-ons. He's a very aggressive player, very pressing player too, like we see in these 4 picks that I selected. This one, the first one, was against Man United in Plzen in the Europa League. You see him pressing when Onana has the ball, pressing the league. He recovers the ball, actually goes and passes the ball to his teammates, and they score on the error from Onana to the league, because Šulc sprints from midfield to press the league and takes the ball from him and passes the ball and creates the opportunity to score. So always pressing, always aggressive, never passive. Here again, the ball is on the left winger, for Viktoria Plzen. He has advanced his position into the area. You see him here, they pass the ball with a cross. He adds the ball towards his teammates, but also had the option to block it, and they have crowded the area. So his movement takes 1, 2, 3, 4 Viktoria Plzen players in the area in the Europa League against Lazio here. Here again, on the other side, this time the ball, same winger. He has followed the play again. He is challenging Marušić, the right back from Lazio. Following up the play, he contributed in the build-up, roaming, playmaker again. Pass the ball to the winger and sprint back to be the extra attacker, because they need them in this case. So if you go with the long ball, you can go with the long ball to the far post to Šulc here, because he's taking the time from the tempo from Marušić. Here again, in this situation on bottom right, he actually scores in this game against Lazio. He is advancing his position. He sees that there's a gap here. Actually, the ball is there's a scramble in the area. I think the striker here adds the ball back, and Šulc stops it, and with his right foot puts him into the top corner past Provedel. So these are the situation of Šulc. This game against Lazio, 1-1. You see they play with the 5-3-2, and Šulc is the number 10 behind 2 strikers. But they also play in a similar setup to Leeds, because they have Vidra. You remember him, former Watford player, played a lot of games in the Championship years ago. They also play with Duro Zimny, the striker, as the number 9, and Vidra and Šulc behind him. So he's also, capable of playing with 1 or 2 players next to him in the number 10 position. And here against Lazio, you see him moving all around, especially on the left, because he really likes to go on the left and be the extra man in midfield, helping, in this case, Cherv and Kalvak. So this was Pavel Šulc was very, very fast in this one, because we wanted to really get this going. And you see that there's not much to say on my part, because all the number 10s that I've picked have similar characteristics, and I think that's what we're missing, because Aronson can offer us something in the Championship, unproven in that position in the Premier League, but he cannot do in the build-up what we need from a proper number 10. We have been missing for 2 seasons a proper number 10, because Rotter did exceptionally well in that role, but it's not Radonal 10. You know, it's like a shadow striker moving around, you know. But yeah, the typical Farke 10, I think Šulc is, people can say, oh, but he will come from the Czech league, you know. Yeah, but he has a big step. Yeah, it can be a big step, but he has played regularly for Czech Republic, even at the Euros. He was last summer, and he's been playing for consecutive seasons in European competitions, doing well against Man United, doing well against Lazio, doing well against the other teams they faced. So I think they have also placed a low price for him, because it's out of contract next summer. Around, I think, 10, 12 million you can get him, to be fair. So it's not even an high fee, but the player, because of his age, 24, but the player is really worth it. I think he's ready for the top leagues, a top 5 European league. Yeah.
Good stuff. Pavel Šulc. Then, Lockie, you're up next, my man. Thank you, Andrea. That's pick number 1. Pavel Šulc.
Yeah, the first one is very short, and I'll explain why, but the other 2 will be more detailed, I promise. This one is very short. I know Andrea likes this player as well, so he can chip in as well with this. How do I present? Apologies, everyone. I've been working all day, well, for the evening.
No need to
coaching, apologize. So my brain is absolutely fried. And also, pronunciation, I'm going to get this. It's Lovro Majer. Is it Majer? Majer.
Lovro Majer.
Yeah, Majer. Yeah, he looks like Farke, and that's it. So,
he does, doesn't he? He looks like a cross between Farke and a little bit of Ibrahimovic. I can't lie to you. I can see
even Modric haircut. Yeah. I think.
Yeah, the reason there's not a lot on him this season is because he's had 2 very bad injuries. Now, that's not a thing in his career, for anyone gets worried. He's been unfortunate. He had an injury. He came back. It was that thing where you overwork one part and you pull another part. So it's not something that you need to worry about. He's a very, very capable player. But yeah, we'll get into players in the Bundesliga for Wolfsburg. Another one we can get from Wolfsburg. Just a few details. It's valued at 17 million. It's 27 years old, so that ticks a box. It says it's 1.78 meters, which is very short, but he looks bigger from what I've seen of him. I don't know. He looks a little bigger than that. Maybe 2 or 3 inches bigger. So I'm not too sure about that, to be fair. This is the thing about what I will say about what I've learned. Stuff like transfer market and all them, they're not that reliable on height. No. It can be different. So take it from the eye test. A left footer as well, which we love a left footer, don't we? Yeah, number 10. But I'll have a little chat. Like I say, there's not many stats because he played 9 games this season due to injury. But he's a player that I think one thing that stood out from him is he plays with complete elegance. You know, a player that kind of drifts around, really nice feet, quick feet, really comfortable in tight spaces where, you know, watch like Rutter, for example. Jorginho Rutter was quite rugged and, you know, his touches were quite baggy and stuff like that. It worked. He was very good at it. This guy is very silky, very good on the ball, very creative, and a key theme that I've done for these players, I've done it for most in every list I've done this summer, is decision making. That's something that's really important. Going into the Premier League, I'm looking for people who can, 1, deal with the intensity and the tempo, but 2, make decisions quickly. And I think that's really important. And he's a guy who, from what I've seen, he's never really fazed by what's happening. He's always calm. He's always composed. Like I said, really elegant when he moves with the ball, really flows through games. Comparisons, and I was speaking to Andrea about this earlier, I can't remember the name. Nico Paz is one, obviously doing really well at Como. Yeah. Just players that just adapt to what's around them really well. So, for example, if he's surrounded by, and it sounds silly, if he's surrounded by better players, he'll get better numbers, basically. He's not the type of player, in my opinion, that will, go to a team and be the guy that, does everything. He needs players around him, but he's a smart guy where if you give him the tools around him, it just unlocks all his potential. And what he can do is, he's a very, very good player. And I just want to get I've got some stats that I've got this season. I've lost everyone. There you are. But I'll bring up 1 second. Like I said, he played 9 games this year due to injury. So it's not the best, but yeah, we'll just quickly show this.
What a starter though before injury at the Euros for Croatia.
Yeah, he also scored twice, I believe, against Bayern Munich in the first, second game of the season before he got injured. So, and he's had so many games for Croatia as well. Does that work, Joe? Wait there. I need to stop sharing. Like I said, my brain's not on. Apologies, people.
There was just a simple disservice to him in Croatia, is that they used to compare him to Modric because of his experience, but he's a completely different player from Modric. Like Lucky said, he plays the role like Nico Pass, but a good comparison in English football could be Pablo, to be fair.
Yeah, just the elegance, the calmness, the control. So obviously this season, as you can see, not great, but first game of the season, 2 goals against Bayern Munich is as you can see, ankle injury.
Wow.
Came back from that and torn a muscle fiber. I mean, what he meant to do, but has got back into the team as well. But I'll go into his last few seasons because that's what's important, and that's why we're putting him in the list. Last season in the Bundesliga as well, from centre mid, played a little deeper at times as well. 10 goal involvements in 32 for a relatively average side. Again, versatile, very comfortable in many positions. As you can see, he's played in France, he's played in the Bundesliga, played in the Europa League as well. See, no injury problems there. We go back another year. I believe he was in France at Rennes. Yeah, and again, 8 goal involvements in 32 in that season. Like I said, he's a type of player who adjusts to what's around him. He'll fit in a lot of systems because he's very comfortable at doing many things. Very close ball control, very good with the ball. And I'll just show his overall career stats. Like I said, I've got more of the guys. 35 times for Croatia and 8 goals for Croatia. So a guy I really like. He's had a bad year with injuries. Big move in 2023. 25 millions from Wolfsburg. So yeah, that's my first one.
Good man.
I almost left studio then.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Legend, mate. Thank you very much. Right. So far we have had Pavel Šulc and Lovro Majer. Andrea's up next. We'll
stay in Germany.
Baumgartner.
Right, let's go. Oh, brilliant.
Baumgartner. Yeah, I know about Baumgartner. Don't worry about that one, mate.
Brilliant pronunciation. Yeah, we stay in Germany. I think this one can be slightly difficult.
Was he at Leverkusen?
No, it was at Hoffenheim and then moved to RB Leipzig 2 years ago.
Same league, Joe.
Same league. I was close.
Yeah,
man.
same league.
Close.
Yeah, I played against him many times. Yeah, but yeah, I think I put him in because I think you'd get an experienced and proven top European experienced player, because he's been consistently playing in 2019 in the Bundesliga, and especially for Austria, I think with the national team, it's where he really thrives. Especially at the Euros, it was a menace for us at Euro 2020 against Italy. Very, very good when we almost got knocked out by Austria in the round of 16. But even at Euro 2024, he was very, very good. I think he's a player that just, of course, 25, so in the middle of his career, but every time I've watched him, he always looked, even when he was younger, like a veteran. So it's a player for all season, like we say in Italy, per tutte le stagioni, because he can play basically in every position as an attacking midfielder, as a right midfielder, winger, center midfielder. So versatile, especially in the build-up. He is good in attacking, but in the build-up, he is really unselfish player. As you can see, 5 goals this season and 2 assists, because he's a player, especially in the build-up, dropping more and then contributing more as he gets forward. It's not a player that takes many shots, but he's basically a very good link up in the final third and a very good reader, especially likes to move a lot wide. And like I said, this season, RB Leipzig didn't have a good season, so he might be available. He earns 2.5 million. And like we see here, million per year as a contract till 2028. I think the price should be around between 15 and 18 million. And RB Leipzig had a terrible season. I think they miss out on European competitions to this season, and especially in Leipzig, 26 games starting and 17 games as a sub, because ahead of him he has Xavi Simons and Antonio Nusa that can play in that position. So he has proper competition, especially if they retain all the players. Of course, some players may leave, like Nusa or Xavi Simons, but if they retain all the players, I think you can find a team where you'll be the starter week in and week out. Like I said, 13 games started as a number 10, 13-2 as a right winger. As you can see, he tends to do the contrary to Schulz. In the build-up, he tends to, follow the play on the right and especially start and help the build-up from nearer to the wing, Then he passes the ball and, stretches the team, because he will see that in a slide later. He tends to be like the extra attacker, but wider. Schulz goes centrally, especially Baumgartner goes more wide, compared to Schulz. And that's the difference. As you can see, similarities between the two. Progressive carries, progressive passes for recoveries. These are the similar traits. He is better in the defensive end for me compared to Schulz. And offensively, like I said, he's more of a playmaker, less of an attacker, but more of he can easily play as a center mid, to me, a box-to-box center midfielder, a number 8 too, because of what he does, Like I was saying, here we are in the Champions League against Aston Villa. He contributed in the build-up. The ball went on the left. The ball is here. I think this one is Loki's favorite mate, Lois Openda from Belgium. Yeah.
What's he doing?
Your
Does he
favorite
fancy
player.
a move to Elland Road? Does he fancy?
Maybe we can get Šeško though. I'm joking, of course. Yeah, as you can see, Openda, Šeško. Then you have like Baumgartner has followed the play. I think he has outpaced maybe Ramsey here, I think. And there's the space for him to enter here, because he sees the gap, he follows the play. After he contributed in the build-up, kept running, and there's the space for him to exploit here, from, in this case. Like Schulz, again, like I said, never passive, both of them. He stays high. Here again, the ball on the left. He goes, presses the ball, and he forces the pass back to the keeper. So again, number 10 needs to press. Even a rhyme there, maybe. Here again, roaming in the build-up at Celtic Park. Follows the ball. The ball is again to the striker. Striker is close by 3 players. He's following the play and has outpaced, I think, Dyson Maeda there. I think he's him. Might be him. And again, he has the opportunity, because the striker here is, of course, sprinting towards the left. He has the opportunity to go either centrally or on the right, challenging in the 1v1 here against this player. Again, here the ball is there. He's shooting, the striker, but Baumgartner has followed the play again, moving all around. Has the opportunity to go in this gap for a pass or follow the play and try to crowd the area again, following the striker. So similarities to Schulz. They play, again, change the system a lot. Here they have taken the formation they used against Bayern Munich. 5-1 loss, but shows that Baumgartner playing the 10. And they have some similarities with us in this case, because they have one playmaker, Vermeeren, and one box-to-box. More box-to-box, of course. Schlager is to a defensive midfielder, but can be box-to-box to more than Vermeeren, of course. So Baumgartner, as you can see, moves a lot back to help in the build-up compared to Schulz. And he exploits more on the right. So, yeah, I think he's more experienced to what it takes to be a top player, an all-around player, especially like the third midfielder. If you want to play with a midfield 3, he can be the 10, but also when we are defending out of possession, he can be the third man in midfield, and that will massively help us. That's why I picked him, because of his versatility, especially when we have the ball and when we need to defend, for his better positioning all around in the two different phases.
That was the hardest thing about this for me. It was finding, the traditional 10 that we all associate 10s with: small, diminutive, skillful, good in tight spaces. But then finding actually a typical Farke 10 who are usually a lot bigger, a lot more box to box, a lot more, they can get back, they can get forward. So that was what was the trying to find out what we need was quite difficult, to be fair.
I agree.
I found anyway.
Great stuff. I'm just
waiting for the mystery 10.
Yeah, I think oh no, never mind. I'll blag it. Lockie next.
Am I missing something? Wait, what's going
No,
on?
it's me, man. I've put too much stock in something and then double checked it while you were talking, and I'm like,
right.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll
still go with it though, don't worry.
One second. Go full screen. Why is it not going full screen? This ain't going full screen. I don't know why.
Don't know why. I don't know how.
Is the one and only Gustavo Sá. He is probably one of my favourite players to watch of the last 12 months. I thoroughly enjoyed watching him this season. He's rogue, he's fun, he's interesting, but he's been, if anyone's watched the 21s as well, he's played quite a lot for Portugal in that tournament, and he's been a star in that as well for me. He's looked really good. Yeah, you're out and out. He's number 10, very much so, in my opinion, very suited to that role. And this season, 20 years old, by the way, he's 1.89 meters, so he's massive. He fits that instantly. So he's above 6 foot, which is great. I believe, I don't know what that translates to exactly, but what's that, 6'2", 6'3"? I don't know. I don't work in meters. I don't know why I did it in meters. But 33 appearances this season. 4 goals, 8 assists, 7 yellow cards, which I love. Right-footed, like I said, very much a traditional number 10. And if anyone's been watching, has been tearing it up for Portugal in these Euros. Been really impressive. In my opinion, from what I've seen, one of the most impressive young players. So definitely one to watch in the future when he inevitably goes to Milan or something, which will probably happen because you can just see it. But that's not meant to happen. 1 second. I don't know why that's gone black screen. 1 second, Joe. Let me check I've got the right thing.
No worries,
yes,
bro.
I have. I just had a black screen in there to make sure. I don't know why. I did this earlier when I was half asleep. But yeah, we're back. So I've got his heat maps from the last 2 seasons because I wanted to show his variety. So this season, as you can see on the left, a lot of combination play down that right side. And again, that's down the way his team play. But what interested me was the last season before last, where you can see how effective he is as that kind of neutral player where he can play deeper, he can play higher, he can play either side. That's something that impresses me about watching Sá is there's actually some small similarities, and I'm going to say small, in the way Jorginho, Rutter and him play, in the sense that they can come deep. But what they do when they've got the ball, they're both very long, but they've got really nice ball control. That first touch where Rutter would get it and first touch, he's already knocking it past a man. Sá's similar, and he uses his body in a similar way to what Rutter did as well. I don't think he's quite got that raw pace as Rutter has, but the way in which he manipulates the ball with his body is seriously impressive. I've just got some quick clips for him. So this just shows his kind of, and this was very quick this afternoon, so I apologize if they're a bit rubbish, but there he is picking the ball up with against the high line. And instantly, as soon as he gets that ball, it's that pass through, noticing where the space is, noticing where the gap is, where the runner. Just imagine this in your Premier League. You give him half a second, and we've got our winger, Dan James, running in. This is where these players are dangerous. They're not guys that, let's be honest, respect to Aronson, but in this position here, he's probably going to take 3 or 4 touches, right? Sá got the ball and thought, right, that ball's going where that space is. And that is what he's really good at. 8 assists this season. I think he got 6 or 7 last year as well, at 19 years old last year, 18, 19. Obviously, the ball goes through. Great way to pass. Gives the guy a one-on-one. He misses. In typical fashion in these clips, the assists always seem to miss. But one I just want to show out as well is his ability to drift into space. He's very manipulative in his movement, which, again, I spoke about a lot with a 10 role. It's easy to find a space, but it's about then moving to find another space. You have to keep moving. You have to find them spaces. And that's what I like about him. For a big guy, he's very good at finding space and drifting. And then when he gets the ball in these kind of tight spaces, he's very comfortable at turning on it, direct to goal. Gets the ball, cross comes in. And this is a finish, by the way, and it's an absolute joke. I can't show you it, but I'll explain. So makes that move at the front post. He does a little back heel behind his other leg into the far corner. It's an absolute joke. Ball comes in. You can see kind of what he's doing there.
Oh, brilliant.
Crazy finish into the bottom corner as well, side netting from across from out this guy out here. And the pass was bad. It was behind him. So what he did was he adjusted and his body and thought, I'm just going to flick this in with my weak foot behind me here and it's going to go into the bottom corner. Unreal technique, unreal skill. And that's the type of player he is. He's unproven in a sense. He's still got a lot to develop and a lot to learn. He's one of them where if you could get him this season, you're laughing. But one of them where, I'm sure you'll agree, Andrea, because I know you know a bit about him as well, where next year, whatever team he's at, I think next year is the year where he really puts his name out there big time. He's got everything. Yeah. He just needs to find it all together. And I think he'll be an almost complete footballer, to be honest. But yeah, another thing I liked as well with his height, he did this a lot from crosses. He's very dangerous. He didn't score a lot of set-piece headers, but he's very good at beating his man in the air and finding his team. So look, we know what we're going to do this year. We're going to have height. He's a guy that can help with that. So he beats his defender on the back stick here, heads it down to this guy who scores. From a position like this, do we have many players that can do stuff like this? He's got this and he's got ridiculous technical ability. He's a really fun player. And yeah, those are just the quick clips I want to say. I just want to, again, very quickly show just his stats from the last 2 seasons. Actually, no, I already showed the things. So it's fine. But yeah, that'll do. Yeah, just a player that is serious. If anyone's not watched, he's one of them. You go watch on YouTube, watch his highlight reels. You'll be like, wow, he's got everything. He's not got it all together yet, but he will very soon. So could you take that risk? I know he doesn't suit. He's not 26. He's 20. So maybe we don't sign him, but top player in my opinion. Yeah.
Nice, mate. Gustavo Sá, I believe Laugh Leeds says, is this Gustavo Sá some player? It was, yes. Good stuff. Right, we've got one. Well, we've all got one each left. One each left. Yes. Right, okay.
The final one.
Mine's going to take a bit of persuading, folks.
And here we go. We'll go on the Rijeka, which means river, actually. This city, Rijeka, in Croatian, Fiume in Italian. Used to be Italian, then went back to Yugoslavia. Yeah, very complicated story, by the way. So yeah, we have Toni Fruk, the underrated Croat. Number 10, he's going to leave this season because the president of Rijeka, Damir Mišković, has said that they're going to sell him and they've put a 20 million price tag on him. And it was said that there was Union Berlin interested because they asked a question to Josip Juranovic in a press conference about this link. Juranovic used to play for Celtic, now with Union Berlin. It's, again, similar to Šulc, a player that has come into the scene late because he's 24 now. But he's been bossing the league, the Nogometna Liga in Croatia, the HNL, with Rijeka. They have won the league this season too, and he's been easily the best player in the league. He's been absolutely bossing the league in the last 2 seasons. I'm very surprised Dinamo Zagreb didn't get him, but not as much because they had financial problem recently. And about Fruk, 20, 23, 24, 4 goals, 17 again. I repeat, 17 assists this season. Like you can see here, 15 assists and 15 goals and 12 assists. Like I said, he arrived late into the scene. It was a product of Fiorentina because they acquired him when he was a youth player. Sent him along to Dobrava Zagreb and HNK Gorica. Then sold him to Rijeka. They still have 50% of future sale from Rijeka if he moves, and that's why they've put a 20 million price tag, negotiable. But Mišković, usually it's very hard negotiated, with Rijeka. Especially they sold the Piazza last summer to Dinamo Zagreb, Marko Pašalić to, I think, in the MLS. Yeah, so they can sell, but you have to pay them what they want. Usually, they're very hard negotiators. Been a regular now with Croatia, always on the bench, still has to gain his debut. Again, he's been boss in the league. 42 games started, just 3 as a sub, 55 as a number 10, 16 as a center forward this season for Rijeka, alternating with JUSTJOE for them. Here you have some stats. It's not on FBref because they don't have the Croatian league, but as you can see from the heat map, takes the corners, takes the free kicks, moves all around, and his decision making very similar to Šulc. He's quick, 1-2 touches, carries the ball, moves all around. Again, an advanced playmaker, and that's what they want. There's not much to say, unfortunately, this evening because they are very similar players, all of them. But here again, ball on the left, here at the Stadion. Yeah, great. I don't remember the name. Cantida used to be the old stadium. I don't remember. Grbavica. No, not Grbavica. We probably you don't care. So the Rijeka Stadium. There you have on the left the ball. He was there. Saw the gap. Sprint into the gap. Actually, here this player makes a through pass to him. Fruk stops the ball, turns around, one touch, turns around, finish into the bottom corner, goal against Hajduk Split in this case. But all started because he saw the low block, moved into the space, turned around, scored. Here again, he starts the play here, carrying the ball with a progressive carry because the ball used to be on the right wing here, around the halfway line. They passed the ball to Fruk, turned around, carried the ball, passed the ball to this player. This player passed the ball to this player who carried the ball here. Fruk, in the meantime, has followed the play and went inside. So there's space for the pass to him, and he can one touch shoot. This is what he does. Like some former Leeds player that went to Man United used to say. Then you have the high pressing here against the Hajduk Split again. This time at Polud Stadium. He goes higher, to press the keeper in their build-up. Forces a mistake. They recover the ball here in this case, similar to Šulc and Baumgartner. Here again, ball on the right. This player passed the ball to this player. The striker has followed up the play, so there's no one currently in the middle. What does Fruk do in this case? He has followed up the play and occupied the space that used to be occupied by the striker. So actually, they pass the ball to him again. One touch, shoot, score. So this is what he does in terms of movements, And they play at Rijeka with a completely copy of what we do at Elland Road. 4-2-3-1 with a more vulnerable number 8 Selahi and a defensive midfielder Petrovic. As two wingers, Juara and Jankovic next to him, moves all around. Like we see in this case, it was against Hajduk Split in Rijeka. There you have him again, moves back, but this is a lot of progressive carries, going back to take the ball and carrying the ball into spaces, or moving there, 1-2 touch and sprints back to where he started, back to the final third. I think he's a very, very versatile player, Toni Fruk. So he will go to a top league. I think the price, 20 million, might be negotiated around 15, 16 because of his age. he will leave. He will have offers. So I think this is very underrated player. I think he will absolutely be a regular for Croatia in the next years. And if you see him play, go watch the highlights or a full game. Difficult to find a full game, unfortunately, unless you know the proper ways where to find them in the archives. But if you go and type like Rijeka highlights, you can see he's basically in the center of them all. Very esque like Schulz and Majer. That's another common trait that we've seen this evening. So again, very underrated. And again, people would say, "Oh, but it's the Croatian league." I think there's some players that are too good for a certain league, and if you see them play, they play on a different intensity, a different level. Yeah. So they're better suited to top leagues, and that's why they have it easy in those leagues. And remember that the Croatian league is not a farmer league. Ivanovic moved from Rijeka to Union Saint-Gilloise. Modric started there, Mandzukic, all the top. Croatia has a proper national team. All of them started in that league. There's 3 top clubs: Rijeka, Hajduk, Dinamo Zagreb. Yugoslavia used to be called Brazil of Europe back in the 80s and the 90s. After their dissolution, all the states that generated after the dissolution of Yugoslavia have proper national teams. With some ballers, every one of them.
Good stuff, man. Good
Agreed.
stuff. Legend, mate. Last one then. Sorry, just laughing at one of the comments there from Jamie MC. Lockie, last one.
Yeah, 1 second.
Thank you very much, Andrea.
No worries.
A lot will know this name from this transfer window. That is Oscar Gloukh, which I believe I've said right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Proper pronunciation, Oscar Gloukh.
Yeah.
Yalla.
I've been practicing this one. He obviously played in Austria for RB Salzburg. We have been linked with him this window, and it was actually them initial links which made me go watch him, which made me want him. So, yeah, this was not one I had in for months. This is one I saw recently that I really seriously like. Really good player. And again, like Andrea said, don't be put off by the league. Watch this guy play. He's too good for that league. He plays with different intensity. I'll get into all that stuff. But still 21 years old, short guy. I put preferred foot both. He is, I believe he's right-footed, but he can use his left to a point where it affects the way he plays, in the sense that, when you're in that middle or when you're on that side, you don't really know which side is strong, which is weak. You can think you've got him on his strong side, and then he can go on his outside, which helps because he is a player that plays with ridiculous balance. Like I said, where if he's going 1v1 with you, he can go either side just as comfortable. He can shoot with either foot. He can pass with either foot. And that, for me, is what makes him a really interesting player. But yeah, we'll get into that stuff. Last season, in the Bundesliga, the Austrian Bundesliga, obviously, 26 games, 10 goals, 5 assists. Now, what must be said, he did play a lot of last season, or most of it, on the left, which again shows his versatility. But the reason, and he did play in the 10 for most of his career, he played there this season, but you can just tell in the way he plays, he loves to get the ball on the half turn, and he loves to turn quickly and direct at players. Like I say, he's really comfortable in tight spaces. There actually is some small similarities to Mano Solomon. I know obviously with him being from Israel. Yeah, but just in the way, that close ball control Solomon had, he has a bit of that to him. He keeps it close. He likes to come inside with a burst of pace. That type of thing is a lot more balanced for me, and he's a different player overall. But was a lot more comfortable on the half turn and a lot more comfortable driving centrally. But a serious football player. He fits that traditional, or what we see as traditional number 10, small, diminutive, quick, ridiculously quick feet, really creative in there. And just to clarify, this is last season when he was in the 10, as you can see, 7 goals, 15 assists. And what I like about this, and the reason I put this in here, is because this season, I'm going to heat maps, this season he's got more goals than assists, Whereas last season, he got more assists than goals, which shows how dangerous he can be and how talented he is at not only scoring, not only finding good areas in the box, but actually providing those passes. Really good at crosses as well. Really dangerous player. I just want to get some heat map stuff for him. And this is a left dominant side player, as you can tell. This is when he played on the left. This is when he played in the 10. So still a lot more reliance on that left side build-up play. But look, this is with 10 on the system. You play them all this stuff. So I'm not too bothered by that. A seriously comfortable player and one that, again, go watch. You guys would love him. One of them where, and I love these type of players where they're on the edge of the box and they can just get that shot at kind of any angle. You know, you think the mark, they'll just knock it through the legs and hit it into the near corner type of thing. Really dangerous, really good feet. And just looking at some stats from FB Ref, there is improvements there.
There's also one thing, Gloukh, very quickly.
Yep.
UCL experience too.
Yeah.
So you said don't be put off by the league. He played in the UCL and did well in the games that he played there too.
Yeah, 100%. One of the games I watched was, I can't remember who he was against, but he played in the Champions League, and he just looks comfortable. He looks ready. His intensity is ridiculous. His willingness, as you'll see in this, to drive forward and beat players is an absolute joke. So I just want to show some here. As you can see, touches is always one that shows, are they players that are willing to get on the ball? That's really important. But I just wanted to show the carries. He's an absolute carry beast. And this, in my opinion, is something that we could massively do with. As you can see, this is per 90, 50 carries per 90. That is in the top 1%, you know? Total carry distance, top 1%. Progressive carry distance, so them real kind of runs into dangerous areas, really attacking them back lines, top 1%. Actual progressive carries, that's at 5.83 per 90, which is a joke, by the way. The top 4%. Carries into the final third as well. Again, really attacking that back line, top 1%. So, and again, passes received. This is important because this shows, again, a player willing to get the ball in high, dangerous areas. Passes completed as well. Let you guys look at the passing stats. Again, progressive passing distance. So it's not just progression in dribbles, it's and carries, it's progression in passing. And this is something, as you can see at the bottom, progressive patterns in the 90s, 4.9, which is the top 14%. A serious ball carrier, a serious progressor of the football. Probably improvements in terms of his, some of the other guys that Andreas mentioned as well. Probably better defensively, probably more tuned in defensively, probably better as that kind of 8 as well. That they can switch to an 8 if they have to. But for me, this guy is just a ridiculous creator for football on a football pitch and something we massively lack. So yeah,
good stuff. Good stuff.
Okay, quickly, just for 30 seconds, Joe. Literally just 30 seconds. I just want to show my my list just so everyone can go through it themselves. I won't think.
Just while you do that, mate, I'll remind people we have Pavel Šulc, Lovro Majer, Baumgartner, Gustavo Sá, Toni Fruk, and Oscar Gloukh. Boom.
Yeah. So this is some of the guys, and it was hard. Look, I'll mention Gustavo real quick. He was my number 1. He's 27. He's above 6 foot. He's a Daniel Farke number 10. Out and out. Perfect. He signed a new contract a few weeks ago at PSV. So gutted. And then Milambo as well has just moved to Brentford. Also a player I'd really like. Another one I want to mention as well was Paul Nebel, who's had a ridiculously good season. I think I've seen a few guys mention him. For me, a player that is going beyond Leeds United, unfortunately. He had a really good under-21s, probably the best player in the under-21s tournament. But yeah, there's a few guys in here that you might really recognise as well. Salazar as well. I had to put him in there, but he's in the 8, so I'm not going to be greedy with him. But yeah, if anyone wants a screenshot, have a look at some of these players. There's some serious. A lot of them are on Andrea's list. So there's Šulc as well. A lot of them are on Andrea's list as well. Yeah.
We tend to agree a lot. But there's also needs to be said that we don't consult each other when we do those. So
no,
it's all by chance. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's the moment you've
it's
all been
the time. Yeah.
We need a jingle. It's Wayman's wild card.
From Danny Mountain, you can do something about that.
We'll have to do that. So he can pass as a number 10. I think he's played there. He's played there and can play there and can play anywhere across the three, really. More predominantly on the left, though. And he's probably more of a striker, second striker, I would say. Failed wonder kid, you could argue. Started at Inter, but never really made the grade. No guesses yet, though. You're not allowed to guess. I'll tell you when you're allowed to guess. You need to get some more.
Is that
No. So, never really made the grade. Spent a bit of time in Belgium, but moved permanently back to his native Argentina. I do have him on FM22, so this is the first thing that pricked my thing. Was once compared to Angel Di Maria at Inter's academy.
Might know this.
25-year-old Argentinian attacking midfielder. Also can play as a winger or a second striker. Bit of an enganche, if you will. Stand out for River Plate in 2025. Did actually score in the Club World Cup as well. 5'10". Low centre of gravity, dynamic, creative. Suits the 10 role, although not predominantly a 10. He's contributed goals and assists. Got flair, vision, ability to link play. On transfer market, he's around about 5 or 6 million euros, but Flamengo bid 30 million for him, and he's only got a year left, and yeah, it's not looking good. But he's not a 10. He's played as a 10. He does play out on the left as well, but could easily play. But yeah, I would say he's an enganche. Enganche?
Claro, sí.
Yeah, sí. So specifically a playmaker. He operates between the midfield and attack. Yeah.
Right. I don't know.
Do you have an idea? Does anyone have an idea?
I have.
I had a hint originally at Ezequiel Barco, but he didn't start into Milan. And he's also not in. He's in Russia at the moment.
No.
I think Facundo Colidio might be.
That's the one.
Yeah, because I also watched him live once when he was with the under-21s with Inter playing in the final, in Reggio against Fiorentina in the final of Italian under-21 league. There was him and Zaniolo up front, I think, for Inter. Yeah, it's more of a striker, but yeah, he's moving all around.
Yeah,
it's he has resurged, in Argentina with River Plate.
Exactly.
Looking at your description, wonder kid playing at River Plate, one could have thought Franco Mastantuono, but not him.
Okay.
Yeah, going Real Madrid.
Not really a 10 though, right? Like I thought he was a 10, and then when I thought I'll just have a quick check when we were live, and I was like, fuck.
It's more of a second striker, because of his body type, but very good in the build-up, good in making the running behinds, but he's very similar to another player playing in that I consider to put him into the list, but didn't because he's a second striker for me. Lucas Beltran used to be at River Plate, who plays for Fiorentina now. They're very similar players, Colidio and Beltran, and both of them have Italian passports too, so they won't count as a. They will have better connections in terms of passports and all that, so they won't be count as an extra European player. I don't know that because you're not in. I realize you're not in the EU anymore, so that doesn't apply to you anymore.
We could even look at him as a winger, right? Like a left winger as well. We need a winger. Second striker. I don't know. I did buy him from Inter as a wonder kid for Leeds United, so he is in my team. You see.
Nice.
So yeah, we'll see.
Nice. I don't know much about. I don't really know much about him. I'll have to have a watch. Yeah. I like it.
You'll watch it and then go, Joe, he's not a 10, mate. What are you on about? I tried, boys. I tried.
You know what? I'll give you credit because honestly, I thought you were going to say Hamer. I don't know why. I just
really?
thought you were going to say
It wouldn't be much of a wild card, would it?
That's what I mean. I'm like, yeah, but I like it.
Yeah. We'll see.
There's
We'll
a
see.
lot of people mentioning and Julian Ciso, but I think he's going to Porto in Portugal.
Is he going Portugal? Is he?
Yeah, I think he's going to Porto. They have just acquired an Italian manager, Farioli.
Okay.
There's one name I did want to quickly mention that I forgot to do in my thing, and me and Andrea chatted about. It's Merlin Roll earlier, who plays it for Freiburg in Germany, and he's a player that again you look at, and he just looks like a Daniel Farke. He can play deeper, he can play in the midfield as well. Very good player, tall player as well, technical. I was considering bringing him in when I found out Till wasn't, but I brought who did I bring in instead? Yeah, I can't remember what I took. What did I take Andre? I can't remember. I took the Majer, wasn't it?
Majer, yeah, the first one.
Majer,
was
sorry, Majer. Yeah,
Majer,
so he's one as well that came close. Good player. But there, sorry, I forgot to mention.
Boys, what do you think of Noni Madueke going to Arsenal for 52 million? It's wild, you know. They bought him for 28 just 2 seasons ago. How's he doubled? He's never enough doubled his fucking money. He's not been great.
Madueke is one of them situations where I honestly feel if he went to Chelsea and I was a bit gutted, because he's one of them where I remember when if we'd have gone up, there was some little links about us being interested. I think a team lower down would have been great for him. But too many players these days, they try and go for the top because obviously that's where the money is. But there's so much proof now that playing at a lower Premier League team really accelerates your value and it sets you up for them big clubs. And it's kind of like it's just moving to a big club. And a player like that, a young player like that, needs to just play and play and play. So yeah, it's a bit for him. It's a bit thingy. To be fair, it's a lot of money.
It's crazy money.
It's a lot of money. I do like him though. I did like him before he went to. He was really good at PSV. Really impressed me.
I think he'll do great. No, not great. He'll do very well at Arsenal. Looking at the way they play, to be fair, I don't think he was suited for Chelsea, but I think at Arsenal he can really step up. But the price is out of their minds. 50 million. It's completely insane. To be fair, game is absolutely, like someone has typed. Game is absolutely gone.
What about Spurs? Obviously, they bought Morgan Gibbs-White. They've bought Kudus. Surely Solomon. Yeah. Surely Solomon is not going to be used. Like Kudus, Gibbs-White, Kulusevski, Tell, Brennan Johnson. I don't see how he's getting game time there.
No, exactly.
No, he's not. Is he?
Yeah, he's not. But I'm thinking about the price. How much will you spend for Solomon, lads?
The way the market is at the minute, they'll want a lot of money. They'll want 25 million.
I really like the player, but just based on other kind of wingers I've seen this year that I'd like at the club if we do sign one, I wouldn't go over 15.
Yeah, same.
Like people are saying 10 in the chat. You're not getting him for 10. Sean Longstaff would trying to get for.
Yeah, that's the problem for me. It's Spurs as well. We know they'll try to get every penny. He had a really good year last year.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't pay over 15, and Spurs probably won't sell for less. So probably not going to get him. Yeah. But you never know. No. We might be so cheap with every other signing but because he played for us last year, get him in whatever kind of fun. I hope we don't do that. I hope we're sensible all the way through.
Yeah.
If we've been sensible.
And I think they know. Again, I've tweeted it. I don't remember if we discussed it the other day, but when the three of us were together on another live stream, but they know at the club that we cannot go into the Premier League with Harrison, Ramazani, Gnonto, and James. We cannot go into the Premier League with that. I've read the piece, one of the last pieces. I think I don't remember if it was Baron Cross with the Athletic or Giordano. I think it was Giordano with the YP, but I may be wrong. My memory is fading, getting older. But they said that Leeds want this position and the wingers. A winger wasn't mentioned, and for me, it's not right. They know, and I think a lot will depend on the situation of Jack Harrison for me to get one winger in. because you need to get new
Are you
wingers. Because
are you-
Ramazani is improving at top at the Premier League. Nyonto had 6 good months. Okay, they might crack and go and hit the ground running, but it might even backfire. So you need to get at least one, for me too, but at least one winger in the market for me.
Are you worried about lack of outgoings? Because I think the club, maybe we were banking on more, which brings money in.
Potentially.
Do you think could Jack
gone?
stay? Like, I'm not pushing the narrative that I want him to stay, chap. I'm just saying, asking the question. There's no noise around it. I don't know what Pope he was on about with the free or something. That's crazy talk. But I'm not sure what's going on really.
There's not. How many have we actually lost at the moment? Have we lost
But-
any? Apart from the ones that got done.
Wöber
Wöber,
on
yeah.
loan.
Christensen was last year, weren't
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's look again. There's still time for them to go, and obviously,
Yeah.
yeah. But it is a little, just and again watching. I know it's so early, but I just want to, watching some of them players at the training. It looks exactly the same as last year.
Yeah,
And I know I get it. Some of them are not there yet. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying it clearly. You look at that. There's still a lot of work to do. We don't. Yeah. Let's see.
Well, when I saw Joffrey, some Greenwood,
it was a worry.
Jack Harrison, I was like
Charlie
Ian Bright
Crew
in
and
that
that was
clip.
on there as well. Yeah.
Crew.
Yeah, I was like Ian Bright in that clip. Like Mr. Pigden.
Yeah, Mr. Pigman. It's such a heartwarming bloody video. That by the way, man.
Yeah.
Love it.
Great one.
Brilliant. Yeah.
it's,
Well, it's Friday tomorrow. Hopefully, something happens, folks.
Hopefully something happens. Honestly.
Something. Just throw us a
weird.
ball. Like today, genuinely, there was nothing at all.
Yeah. Quiet.
All we got was Joe Donahue leaving.
Yeah. It's weird, isn't it? Because we did sign a player 2 days ago, and everyone seemed to forget.
there's
At
at least
right, Lockie. We had the signing, we had the Byram contract, we're now linked to Longstaff, Vanya Milinkovic, and we were going, what a day. I did 3 streams that day.
Yeah.
And then now, 2 days later, there's nothing.
Yeah, but at least the news of Joe Donahue going, he's not been taken by Sunderland because, of course, he's from Newcastle, so he won't go there. I think.
Imagine
the new Jack Colback he will be.
I just want to ask you two really quickly, if that's all right. Like I've said, we've touched on it at the start. It's not. Are you worried, or is it just we just want a little bit more? That signing that makes you go right. Yeah, okay.
I'm not sat here like, oh my god, 49ers. I'm not doing that, but I am starting to go. Oh, come on now,
Yeah.
because we've sorted out the back line.
Yeah.
But nothing else. Nothing else at all. Wingers, midfielders, strike. We've been linked. And what's the annoying bit, which I shared yesterday on the video and said we use, every decent players come with, but we're not confident.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Well, I don't like that either. It's like, well, we'll put a bid in, but if someone else gazumps us, we're fucked.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We've had Beto, we've had Muniz. And Muniz has now been linked to Atalanta, which we're done, if they're serious.
Krstovic too, with Atalanta.
Yeah, but this is the thing when you wait as well.
Yeah.
I genuinely felt, unlike the Champo, where they were willing to wait because a Solomon becomes available, I don't think we can afford to do that in the Prem.
I agree.
And what's also now becoming frustrating, Jack's just reminding me, I'm seeing fucking Rangers do bits.
Yeah, they are. Aren't they?
They were linked to they're taking the keeper on loan now as well from Brighton, Beadle. They're getting Beadle, Raksaki. I'm like, what's going on here?
Beadle, they got Beadle or Rushworth?
Rushworth, sorry.
Rushworth, yeah. Beadle would have been great.
Rushworth, but it's like Steinson, I know he's sort of like not running our gaff, but he's the head of the whole operation, if you like.
And it's that, Joe, that genuinely, I see that arranged every day, and that's what makes I can't speak. That's what makes me think: is there some financial restrictions? Because why we asked about 2 million?
I think about that too,
weird.
because when I read about deal restructuring for long stuff, for a deal of 12 million, why do you have to restructure the deal? If you want the player, you come in with a new offer, 15 million.
It's the third bid as well, Andrea.
Yeah, exactly. That's the
So
third
the next
bid. So
one's
how
4.
did they offer 8 million the first time? How much did they offer? But there's another thing, that I've read that didn't make me smile, is that I don't remember the article again. I think it was maybe the same, or in the Athletic, I think this one, about Byron being an understudy behind Gudmundsson. We need another one.
Yeah. I've seen that.
A fullback maybe that can play on both sides like Schmidt, because even Schmidt, he didn't play in the Championship. We're keeping him to be the first backup for Bogle in the Premier League. His agent wanted him to go.
They told us as well, bro, that we have 30 million for each position. We've not spent 30 million yet, and we've signed 4 players.
Yeah. And that's good business though, because they're all,
all good
players.
But
I know what I mean. I know what you mean.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're hoping that there is a time where that happens, and it could be the order of it. We could be getting our cheaper / more gettable deals in now, and then later in the window.
Like Bonu was easy, wasn't it? Bonu was
exactly.
easy. Mecha.
We all took a little bit, but we got it there, didn't we? With the restructuring the deal as well with that. So Sunderland now are getting in their big guns, right? They could do the opposite.
Did you see that they can't afford Mikitadze?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So is there an issue now? Have they shot their load a little early? Because, like's a good point. They've still got Luke O'Nien and Dan Ballard as their centre backs. It's not good, man. Not good at all.
This is it. This is why I don't think any of us are because there's a while left. Ideally, you want your players in as early as possible, so they're all at training and all that. But there's still a lot of time to get the players we need in. And look, there might be, like I said this before, there might be 1 or 2 loans that they seriously think they can get that might come at the end of the window, which are top players. Yeah. You never know. That's a market we could look into. Loan to buys, maybe, if we stay up. But yeah, we're getting safe players in, which is we need them. Excellent. It seems like they've all kind of come at once. And the thrill or the excitement, hopefully, is later on. I'm just hopefully that is the case, and it's not a matter of we're going to spend 6 more weeks looking for a number 8, because that's dragged on for a while now.
There's also another thing, it's about the structure of our club. We are owned by a fund with investors. Sunderland, for example, I'm not comparing us to them, but I'm just comparing the 2 structures. They are owned by one single entity. They have one defined owner, Kirill Louis Dreyfus. We are owned not directly by the York family, but by a fund orchestrated by the York family. But it's not directly the money of the York family, unlike Sunderland with the Louis Dreyfus family. They used to own Marseille before Sunderland with the father of the current Sunderland owner. So it's an equity fund, where they have raised, they invest through investment from investors, and they have a defined budget through the investment of the investors. On the other hand, with Sunderland, for example, or other clubs in Europe, or other clubs in the Premier League, like Arsenal with the Kroenke family, that's their direct wealth. That's the direct wealth. It's also that difference. It's very open running. They have one decision making, and they can go on the other side. If you're owned by a fund, it's different. It's different. I think also in the decision making, in the decision making process, because there's not all the investors involved, of course, but you have to go through more checks, in a certain sense, because you are more structured, but also more structured means you have to get through more people because you have more people involved in the process,
Yeah, man. And it's a worry because we were told the Red Bull kit deal's now even more lucrative, which Parag said you do need to get to a point where we look. I'm not. Yeah. It's getting a little bit, just a little bit texture.
We need excitement. We need a no business
fucking goalkeeper, man. Do you know what's frustrating?
Yeah, we do.
We have been linked to Vanya Milinkovic-Savic, Perry, the Zentner, Findam,
yeah.
and also we tried for Pope. That came out in the report that Leeds tried to get Pope. We have been trying to get him while we've been trying to get Longstaff. That was in the Athletic.
Right.
So, and he said no, he don't want to leave Newcastle. So that's there. So we tried to get him as well. So it's like, just get the goalkeeper, man, will you, for fuck's sake? Like, what are we waiting for? I know it's not. I know I'm making it sound like it's easy, but we've been linked to every goalkeeper, man, that's available.
And this is what, like, there will be a time, and you see it every year with every club, where the later it gets, the more you have to overspend because you're getting not desperate, but time's running out and you need that position filled. You know, we're very careful, and I like that. Obviously, I do, but there's a limit, right? They can be kind of tedious and annoyingly for fans how careful. Sometimes it can be like restructuring a £12 million deal is very tedious to fans. Obviously, we're not financial experts. But then you look at Sunderland, who just, it's here we go, here we go, here we go. There's not weeks of negotiations. It's
the Forest
boom.
way. Yeah.
Oh,
the Forest way.
Player. Whereas ours is, you'll hear of the player 2 weeks. There'll be some quiet negotiations for a few weeks. Whereas theirs are, got a player. It's like, wow. But
well,
yeah.
Do you know, I was on a stream today on Potts' channel on 12th Man, right? At the start of the stream, it came out that Spurs had exercised the release clause, right? Or were considering it. By the end of the stream, an hour and a half later, he's got a medical booked for tomorrow. I was like, they've done it in an hour and a half.
Wouldn't that be nice? That's what we need. We need just something quick.
Yeah.
You know, when we wake up one day and it's there, and at the end of the day, it's here we go. And we're going, all right, nice. Yeah. You know,
I think with the GK, because it could be easier, you know, Milinkovic, Savic, you have to pay the 90 million pounds clause for European leagues, but you have to convince the player, because other clubs are telling you have to convince the player. And also that we have another situation on our hands. You still have Melia at the club. So if you bring in another goalkeeper, then you have 4 goalkeepers. The new one, Melia, Darlow, and Cairns on your books. And I think they want to wait, ideally. Might not happen, but ideally they want to wait for the new GK to get him when they have a situation lined up for Melia. To be fair, because you need to offload your design at the start of the season, last season, number 1, before you get a new number 1 in, because of course Darlow is not going to be our number 1 in the Premier League next season. You know, we need to get another one. But yeah, I think that ideally they want Melia to go before they get the new one in. Ideally, it might not happen. Might bring in the new one, but then you have a situation where Melia can stay. If you don't find a suitable solution, then you have to loan him out like Weber. Yeah.
If you're Melia, he's got a year left. He could sit on his hands. He could sit on his hands, and then he's got a pick of his club with a nice signing on bonus. Like, the footballers do this.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
It's let's see, because you know,
three
right. Days,
you're right.
It could be different. 3-4 days, we could be excited again. I think it's the way it's landing and the tedious side of it, and it is very tedious in it with all this long stuff.
Of course it is.
Extremely tedious. I just want to see right, we've done it. No news, and here we go. Oh, okay, nice. You know, that would be great. That would be really nice.
It would be, mate. You're right.
There's also another thing that bothered me, you know, in a certain sense, that there were many people in the space saying, we didn't get Sadiki, we didn't get Diarra, we get stuck. But Stuck is not a number 8. He's a different player. He's not a number 8. He plays in a different position. You cannot, Pirlo cannot play in couldn't play in the number 8. These kind of players, they cannot play in the number. If you are a 6, a defensive-minded number 6, you cannot play in the number 8 the way box-to-box, progressive carries, all like that, you know. A number 8, Tanak is a number 8. Rothwell is a movable number 8. Stuck is a number 6. He can do what Gruev does, you know, in a better way, but he's a number 6. You cannot say, oh, we missed out on a number 8, we get a number 6 then.
We need a midfielder to get the ball up the pitch, man.
Yeah.
We need one. We need one in that sense. Sadiki was the one for me. Longstaff is still the one. Okay. I don't see also the logic of people saying, but I respect it too, that opinion. But I don't agree on, 15 for Longstaff is too much because he's in the last year of his contract. Yeah, but other clubs will be interested if he's on the market, because he's very reliable. He's played for Newcastle, fourth. They finished fourth for twice in the last 3 seasons, So Longstaff is too much, 15 million, but people say that Sunderland, for example, have overpaid for Diarra from Strasbourg and Sadiki from Union Saint-Gilloise. But then when we were talking about Sadiki, people said, oh, in the Belgian league, it's just the Belgian league. So I want to see the logic. A proven Premier League player with 7 years of experience or more, you overpay if you spend 15 million for a player that is a great deal of 15 for me. Great deal, just because it's in the last year of his contract. But you would have overplayed if you have matched the offers that Sunderland did for Sadiki and Diarra. I don't see the logic in that. To be fair, I struggle to see that.
Exactly, man. More will be revealed. I'm sure. Listen, we've done an hour and a half. I want to say a big thanks to Andrea and Lockie for both their work tonight. Let us know in the comments who would be your preferred pick. I tried with Wayman's wildcard. It didn't come off tonight, but we'll try again. I'll make sure I double check the positions next time. But yeah, great from these two. Once again, make sure you check out Lockie Leeds. He'll have more in-depth player analysis on everyone mentioned and other videos out there as well in the space. So make sure you check him out. The lad's the GOAT. And of course, Andrea as well. He's everyone's favourite Italian. Yeah, he's just a top guy as well. They're both brilliant lads. So make sure you show them some love. No, it's not an FM Wonder Kid next time. Exactly, Jack, man. We'll see what I can do. Big up to everyone, and we'll see you again very soon. Sorry, before we do, let me get a pen and paper before you start. I hope, Kyril, that you did make notes, brother. And
you've seen the name. You've seen the name through
Kyril.
He has the name of the Sunderland owner.
Oh, really? All right, okay. Sorry, I didn't pick up on that. Here's me going, well done, Kyril. Andrew Forbes says, what a great team, Joe. Congrats on your hard work. I'm assuming these two put in the hard work, but it was a very good find, first of all. Andrea, who were we linked to when I asked you to come on? Who was it?
Was it it was about Radrizzani, who was going out. First time, yeah.
Yeah, I remember Radrizzani, and then obviously Lockie's just Lockie. Doing his bits. We've got another training session on Sunday, folks, for the Content Creator Cup. Make sure you buy your tickets. I'm going to take along my gimbal and my tripod, so hopefully we'll get some extended footage this time of us training and doing some bits. So that'll be fun.
There'll be intensity in this one, close to game day.
I know we're getting closer, aren't we? We're getting closer. Good stuff. Thank you, everyone, and we'll see you again soon. Peace out, folks. Have a nice evening.